Hello, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. Today, I'm going to be playing some Best of One Standard on Arena. Last week, I saw a post that was breaking down some of the numbers that were being recorded by UntapGG, and it showed that Standard is actually in a pretty popular place right now. Seems like a lot of people are playing the format, and Historic is not in such a great place, especially Best of 3 Historic. I kind of expected more people to be playing that, but it had some pretty low numbers. Now, that's not representative of the entire format, but it is a pretty good indicator of what people are playing right now. I think Neo just came out, and a lot of people are really into this Kamigawa set. So, why not play it in Standard? So I want to go see what Standard is all about. It has been a very long time since I played the format, and I just want to dip my toe back into it and see what's going on. So I went on over to Untapped, and I kind of checked out all the popular lists, and Standard looked kind of familiar to me. A lot of mono white, a lot of mono green. There were a couple of new control decks that I hadn't really seen too much. Orzhov control, for example. They look pretty neat. But there's one deck that really caught my eye, and that's the deck that I'm going to be playing today. I fell right in love with this thing. It is so awesome. It is a Boros artifact deck, best of one in Standard. I never thought I'd see this day. Oh boy, this deck is a lot of fun, and it's playing a lot of new cards. So I'm going to briefly talk about the cards in this deck, then I'll hop into a few games and see how well it performs. If you just want to see gameplay, as always, there are timestamps in the description. So what is this deck all about? Well, it's mostly about pumping up the two cards right here in the middle. We have 4 copies of the Ingenious Smith and 4 copies of the Patchwork Automaton. So the Ingenious Smith 2 CMC enters the battlefield as a 1/1, but it lets us look at the top 4 cards of our library, and then we may reveal an artifact card and put it into our hand. Then once a turn, when we play our first artifact, or when our first artifact enters the battlefield under our control, it gets a +1/+1. So over the course of the game, this thing can get quite big. The Patchwork works in a similar way, but it's a little bit more powerful. It is also a 1/1 for 2. It is colorless though. It does have Ward 2, which is pretty huge in my opinion. And then it says whenever you cast an artifact spell, put a +1/+1 counter on Patchwork. It doesn't matter if it's countered or whatever. As long as you cast it, it's going to be getting that +1/+1. I've seen this thing get out of control very quickly. The rest of the deck kind of complements these two cards. We have a lot of really good 1 CMC artifacts in the deck. We're playing 4 copies of Portable Hole, some awesome premium removal. Also 4 copies of the new Rabbit Battery, a 1/1 for 1 with haste, and then it has the ability to reconfigure to give another creature +1/+1 and haste. This card has been very impressive to me in Standard in my testing of this deck. Next, 2 copies of the Reinforced Ronin. I love everything there is about this card. It is a 2/2 for 1. It has haste. It's an artifact creature, Human Samurai. It says at the beginning of your end step, return Reinforced Ronin to its owner's hand. So you throw this out on the field, it goes charging in. It's like a shock to the face, returns to hand, and you can do it all over again. This works especially well with the 2 cards, Ingenious Smith and Patchwork, because it's going to allow us to always have a card in hand to be able to cast out for the triggers on these 2 cards. In addition, when the field gets all cluttered and the Reinforced Ronin isn't really doing too much, it has a pretty sweet channel ability. Pay 1 and a red, discard the Ronin, draw a card. Can't complain about that. But most importantly, check out that art. How cool is the art on this card? I don't know what's going on with him, but he's got some giant mechanical arm growing out the back of him. I get so giddy every time I look at this card. I absolutely love it. Next, 4 copies of the Iron Apprentice. Pretty simple card, a 1/1 for 1. Comes in with a +1/+1 counter on it, and if it dies, I get to move those counters onto another creature. This works especially well with the next card in the deck, Voltage Surge. It says, as an additional cost to cast this spell, you may sacrifice an artifact. So if we get in a position where we need to sacrifice an artifact when we're casting this spell, something like the Iron Apprentice would be a perfect card to be doing that with. This card then does 2 damage to target creature or planeswalker, or 4 damage if the sacrifice cost was paid. We don't always need to do the sacrifice, but in the cases when we need 3 or 4 damage, it'll be nice if we have an Iron Apprentice on the field to be able to pump this spell up a little bit more. Next, we have a couple of big cards. We are playing 3 copies of Maul of the Skyclaves. I'm sure everybody knows what this thing does. +2/+2, flying first strike. It is a very impactful equipment card. Then 3 copies of Angelfire Ignition. This was actually the card that drew my attention initially to this deck. As soon as I saw this card, I knew I wanted to try this one out. This card is just awesome, but it hasn't really seen too much play from what I know. And I definitely wanted to try it in some decks, and I have been super impressed with it. It is a pretty simple card. Sorcery speed, 1, a red and a white. Put 2 +1/+1 counters on target creature, and then that creature gets Vigilance, Trample, Lifelink, Indestructible, and Haste until the end of turn. Then it has Flashback for 4. This thing, very good closer, can really blow out a game right at the end of things, especially giving Vigilance and Lifelink. You know, leaves back a blocker, gains us a lot of life. It's indestructible. You may as well attack in. Yeah, this card has definitely saved me time and time again. And then finally, 4 copies of Showdown of the Scalds. This card also very, very impactful. The first stage of the saga, exile top 4 cards of your library. Until the end of your next turn, you may play those cards. Then on the second and third phase of this saga, every time we cast a spell, we get to put a +1/+1 counter on a creature we control. Just allows everything to get out of control really quickly. Over in the lands, a lot of Boros stuff. We are playing some of the new legendary lands with the Seat of the Empire, and then also 1 copy of the Crucible of Defiance, a couple of man lands in the form of 4 copies of Den of the Bugbear, and 2 copies of Cave of the Frost Dragon, 1 copy of Treasure Vault. This thing has gotten me in trouble a couple of times, and I'm not really sure if I want it in the deck, but for now I'm just playing with the original build of this deck. But this thing, I'm not really sure if I like it in the deck yet. We'll see. So this is the deck. Gonna jump into a few games, see how it performs. I think it's gonna be pretty fun. See you over there. All right, some Boros artifacts in Historic. Best of 1, down in the gold rank. I haven't spent any time ranking up over the last week since the reset, mostly because of Elden Ring. I have been playing that game quite a bit over the last few days. Cannot get enough of that game. Have you been also enjoying it? It started a little bit slow for me. The first Friday and Saturday that it was out, I didn't really connect with it, but after a few days, yeah, it really took off for me. You know what? I think I'm going to go out with the Ingenious Smith first. Try to find a 1 CMC artifact. Yep, the Reinforced Ronin's going to be pretty good. So next turn I can go out with the Plains and then maybe put this Automaton out. Then follow it up with the Ronin, get in for 4 damage, pump up the Patchwork. Should be okay. Opponent is on control of some sort, though, I'm sure. Right? That's the only thing that white and blue represents, especially when they have a helping of black now. But yeah, we'll see. There is the Treasure Vault. I see. So is this going to be, you know what this feels like to me? This feels like what's it called? I'm going to have it pop up. The Foretell board wipe. Wow, it has been a minute since I've played Standard. Still get in for 4. I might lose 2 creatures, but with the Reinforced Ronin to follow it up next turn, it's going to be fine. Doomscar? That's what it is. Doomscar. Just have to run it through my head. Yeah. Also, want to say welcome and hello to all the new subscribers. The last couple of days have been pretty good for me. Lots of new faces around, so that's awesome. Thank you. Welcome. All right, let's go out with the Reinforced Ronin. And then I think I kind of want to give the Maul of the Skyclave to the Patchwork and get in for 6. They'll probably throw these 2 in front of each of these creatures, save 5 damage. They double block, so that's definitely a Doomscar because they want to make sure the Reinforced Ronin isn't in my hand. So when they wipe the board, there's nothing to follow it up with. At least that's going to be my read of the situation. There's the Doomscar. Okay, is what it is. So we'll get that out, and I guess it is just build up the board again. I like the rabbit, mostly because of the haste. Patchwork out. Pump the Smith. And now I do have the Cave of the Frost Dragon as well, so if I do get them pretty low over the next couple of turns, maybe this cave can actually steal something. Kind of have to imagine that is another That is another Doomscar. So, a couple of options here. I guess I could load up the Patchwork with the Maul and get in. I can also save this to get 2 creatures out on end turn. Although I can't... Oh, I can do that. I can definitely do that. I'm limited on what I can do, though, because I do only have 1 red mana source. And they gained a lot of life there from this card, Sunset Revelry. Okay, I think it's just forcing the board wipe. I don't know if this is the right play. This maybe feels a little aggressive, but I don't think they're going to really have too many other targets for my Surge here. So maybe throw it there, save the Ingenious Smith, force them to use Doomscar this turn. Oh, it's a Behold the Multiverse, okay. That puts me in a maybe a better position. Okay, lots of board wipes in this format apparently. Showdown of Skulls is good though, especially I can get it out now with the opponent tapped out. And I may as well get out another red source. I don't think I necessarily want to go out with the rabbit yet, because I think the rabbit is going to be very important next turn. It might be a little bit tricky. I got to imagine that they're going to have some kind of spot removal. So anything that I try to load up with showdown counters is probably going to get sniped out pretty quickly. Especially since they're passing the turn here. So wow. Not a very good position for me. Maybe I should have put out that. It's good to have the Den of the Bugbear on the field, though, untapped for next turn. So I think what it is the Rabbit Battery. And then a second Showdown. Try to pump up that. I imagine they have to kill it. Oh. And it resolves. Wow. Okay, so toys for next turn. That's good. Are there flash creatures in the format? Let's find out. Let's find out together. And then I have my land for next turn. That got through. Wow, what are they sitting on? They had nothing at all from the opponent. Okay. Not legendary for some reason. So, everything I cast out is now going to be pumping the rabbit by 2. They must have spot removal for it. They're just slow rolling it. Okay, let's grab the Patchwork because I think I'm going to need that at some point. I would kind of like to give the rabbit flying, but I also want to get this second Showdown or third Showdown out. It's probably better. Okay. And I think I'm going to load up the Smith this time just to spread things out ever so slightly. Those rabbit batteries are exactly what I wanted to see. So let's get the seat out and then attack in for 4. They put a single blocker in front of it. But Maul the Skyclave, I have tons of mana, so it's possible that a follow-up will be necessary. This turned into quite the game, didn't it? I didn't expect that. Not right off the bat. I really wanted these games to go super fast because I definitely want to go play some more. There's just so much to do at Elden Ring. I can't get over it. There's the 4th Showdown of the Scalds. Well, this is going to go out on red to start. And then I guess I put out the rabbit battery, see what they do. They might not have anything. I don't. Okay, they're going to have to... No. I guess I try. Spread out as much damage as I possibly can. And attack in. This is as much as I want to commit to the board. There's got to be something big coming here, right? What did they find? Vanishing Verse, okay. Still taking 10 damage down to 4. And I have a pretty good board of rabbits. I have really good follow-up. And I have the Cave of the Frost Dragon with this ticking next turn. So that'll be 4 damage, almost guaranteed. They do have a ton of mana, though. Farewell. Okay. That's bad. But it's still okay because this kills them unless they have... No. Wow, they have a follow-up. Oh, no. Brutal. Okay. So the opponent is just packing all the removal. I wasn't able to turn that on. No, I wasn't. Okay, let's get Showdown out. Next turn. I don't think I have any more rabbits. I'm pretty sure all of my rabbits are in here. 1 rabbit left. Unless I'm missing it. There's the rabbit. These Den of the Bugbears would be really good to get on the field. I kind of want to load up the Cave of the Frost Dragon so that I can start putting things onto it and then also put out a rabbit battery so that anything... They have 2 targets that they have to remove. But I don't have a whole lot of mana, so... Okay, let's try this. Not too surprised. Surely they have to be running out of things to blow up my stuff with, right? Do I want to put out... I think it's probably better to actually put out the Den of the Bugbear because it's such a valuable card and just put out the Iron Apprentice, pump my rabbit battery by 1. I'm missing out a little bit of damage by doing it that way. I could have, if I put out the Showdown, I could have equipped this onto the Apprentice, attacked in for 3 instead of 2. But opponent packing a lot of things that are getting in my way with these Revelries. That's a cool draw. Okay, Den of the Bugbear. Wow, what a start. I don't even know. I was rambling a lot in that game because I had to focus in on that one. Wow, 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 wow. I wonder what's the opponent's win condition? Is it just piss off the opponent until they concede? I love those kinds of opponents. Those are always my favorite opponents to go up against. Next one. All right. Hopefully there's not too much more of that kind of going on in Standard. I don't really want to be dealing with that. No white source, which is pretty annoying. However, I am going first. I do have the reinforced Ronin, and then maybe follow it up some removal, get a battery out. Pretty good attack. I'm going to try this hand. It's better than last hand I kept. Okay. Ronin to the field. In for 2. Back. Love it. It's is it a balanced Goblin Guide? Maybe. I don't like that. So I think I'm going to be putting this out, taking a little bit of damage. Blast the Usher. And get in for 2. I don't think I win this battle, though. If they are on a mono-white Zoo deck, mono-white aggro, they're going to fill the board, and this reinforced Ronin is never going to get in ever again. Okay, there's my white, which is pretty awesome. So Ronin to the field, and then that was just wrong. I think I messed that up somehow. I thought I was going to be able to equip the rabbit battery onto something. Yeah, if they want to give me the usher, I'll trade the usher here. This whole play or this turn was terrible. Ignore this. I definitely thought I had 3 red mana, or at least something wasn't costing more red mana than I had. Oh no, my Maul of Skyclave is going to be expensive now. That's fine. Bunch of X1s on the opponent's side of the field don't really line up too well against what I'm doing. And I think I'm kind of fine just smashing in. If they use their mana to bump up the Paladin class, it's going to make things a little bit more awkward on the next turn. Okay, that's fine. So I guess it's just going to be pathway into Maul of the Skyclaves. Next turn, make something flying. Lifelink. Don't like that. Okie doke. Okay. Yeah. Well, I guess it is just the Skyclave, and then I don't really feel comfortable attacking in because I won't end up netting anything. If I attack in with the Iron Apprentice, I get them down to 9, but then they just smash me back for so much more and gain a lot more life. So definitely put the Iron Apprentice on defense for a little bit and see where this goes. This is more the standard that I was expecting. Oh, yeah. All right, so probably game over. A good hand from the opponent, and I think my hand didn't actually really change from my opening hand. What? Yeah. So even, I don't think there's a single draw in it, and now with the usher, no. Okie doke. Well, a little bit sad, but that is the standard that I was expecting. What can you do? Keep moving. Game number 3. So hyper control into humans. Ooh. How do I feel about this hand? I have both my colors. Yeah, maybe it's okay. Sure. Hopefully this Ingenious Smith finds me something really nice, and then go from there. Uh-oh. You know what that means, right? That means a repeat of game 1. Are they going to bounce it? Fading Hope on my poor little rabbit? Just to get a scry? Come on. That's not effective use of that card, is it? Oh. Do people play Mill in Standard? Is that a thing? Rune Crab? Mill Crab? Mill in all my lands? All right. Things are getting real dicey. There's a land. Not a great pickup, considering I already have 2 Maul the Skyclaves and only 2 mana. Oh man, this game. Wow. Wow. Not cool game. I can't even really get in. Well, I can't get in. So I guess it's the Rune Crab to die, and then I'll get in for 3 damage with the Ingenious Smith if they have some way of removing it. Maybe a Doomscar up here. You know, that's how things are. But this is what I'm working with. Okay, Expressive Iteration. So I might be able to get in for 4 damage at least next turn. Maybe 5. Sunset Revelry. I hate this card. I really do. There's a comparable card to it in Modern. When I was playing Modern, I guess it was a little bit more popular, that card, in like 2016, 2017, and it was a very similar thing. If you have less life than your opponent, gain 7 life. If you have fewer creatures than your opponent, create 3 1/1s, I think is what the card reads. Or how the card reads. Alright. Well, the Reinforced Ronin is probably not as bad of a draw, considering the situation. There were a lot better draws, but it could have been another, Angelfire Ignition, for example. At least this gets me in for 4 damage. I have to imagine there's a board wipe coming, so I don't want to commit anything else to the board. Just put the Reinforced Ronin back into hand, so I at least have something to do to follow up the Doomscar. Wow. Come on, game. Could you not? Okay, 23 cards. I know a lot of lands got milled, but it shouldn't be this bad, right? Maddening Cacophony. Oh, there goes a lot more of my poor lands. Hey, there's a land. So, now I could just maul the Skyclave for maximum damage. I guess that's probably the only real choice that I have there, considering I only have 1 red mana source. If I draw another red mana source, I can go out with the Rabbit Battery and the Reinforced Ronin. Never getting through this Rune Crab. I'm going to get milled out. Really, really, really awkward with the way my mana is coming. I think I actually absolutely have to kill this Rune Crab. So that means sacrificing the Maul of the Skyclave. Which is fine. I'm not going to be able to equip it to anything, so it's just sitting there doing basically nothing. And I may as well put out the Iron Apprentice just to get something on the board, so then I can follow it up with the Maul of the Skyclave again next turn. I think a red source would be the best thing, because I can go Maul, then Reinforced Ronin, maximize my damage. Tap 2 creatures. That is a new card to me. And what do they get? There's a red source. Funny, funny game. Sorcery, right? Yeah. Okay, so they have to deal with that, I suppose. I wonder if I was supposed to be the Reinforced Ronin last turn. They played out their land pre-teachings, and that's a pretty good thing, because if they had hit a Rune Crab, it could have been a few more cards milled. I am down to 12 cards in deck, or in the library. Here's the thing about Standard. Hey, it's a red source. Look how cool this map is. I have not seen this map before, and I think it's because I mostly play Historic. Wizards is hiding all the cool maps in Standard, giving us all the lame maps over in Historic. Don't appreciate that. Is it Angelfire or Maul of the Skyclave? Does it really matter? Probably not. Okay. You know, that's okay. You know what? It was actually probably Angelfire. Oh no. No, 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 no. Well. Ouch. 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 Considering how those lands fell and how far behind I was on resources all this game, I think it went as well as it could have gone. Next one. Hopefully these games start going a little bit more in my favor. The last two have felt a little bit brutal. Yeah, this is not what I want to see, is it? Okay. Sure. What am I throwing away? Am I throwing away probably the Apprentice? Keep the removal, the 3 lands, so I can maybe get up to the Showdown of the Skalds, and then the Rabbit Battery is just better than the Apprentice, I suppose? What did I say? The Apprentice goes. Okay. Big opening damage. Your turn, Ugin. Another hole. Okay. Well, put that out tapped, attack in for 1, and these portable holes might come up big if the opponent is on mono white again. Yeah, sure. A little unfortunate. I would like to get the Ingenious Smith down, but it's probably better just to hit the Thalia with the hole. Okay. Winning this race. 17 more turns, and we got him dead. The Elite Spellbinder to ruin everything. Wow. So what do we win? Control, mono white, control mill, mono white. This is a fun format. I understand why everybody's playing Standard over Historic. I mean, Historic doesn't have a whole lot of cool stuff going on in it. This only... Yeah. Oh, no. Okay. Ingenious Smith. Try to find something. Yep. And I'll attack in with the battery, sure. I guess I could have equipped it. I could still equip it. Whatever. I don't think I need to. We'll hold this up. Maybe this is some... I don't know. I don't know what I'm bluffing here. Opponent has nothing, though? Okay. Well. Patchwork. And then... I suppose I do attach it to the Patchwork and get in for just a little bit more damage. 1 more damage. What do they have for 4 white with flash? Wandering Emperor. Ah, yeah. That's a new one for me, actually. Okay. Ran into it a little bit when I was playing Limited on Tuesday. So, yeah. Samurai ran into... Or my Patchwork ran into a Samurai. Thankfully, the battery stays around. Oh, attack in with the... Oh, they know I have the portable hold, though. Wow. Just flooding out the board. Yeah, mono white. It's kind of the way it's going to be. When I was looking at the list, and maybe you saw when I picked my deck, or when I was going through the decks, you saw some other standard decks there, and one of them was a mono white humans deck, I think. I played the Naya humans deck, and they're neat decks, but everybody knows what they're all about. None of these choices look very good. I can Patchwork into a Ronin, but this Thalia keeps most things under wraps. I can attack in with the Ingenious Smith as a 3/3, but that doesn't do too much. I guess it is just portable hole. Eat Thalia. And then put out the reinforced Ronin to attack at the Emperor. I should probably also send the battery, right? Yeah. Just to make sure to get it off the field. That's fine. So next turn, Patchwork plus Ronin. It's the best I'm going to be able to do. But they're getting in for quite a bit of damage here. And I'm not going to be able to keep up with that. Oh, these Samurais have Vigilance. Yeah, they just get me in the air. Okie doke. Well, that is... I don't know. Could I do anything about that? Oh, I was having a lot more luck with this deck when I was playing it the other day. Of course, right? That's how it goes. Couple more. Really, really wish these games were going a little bit better because I think this deck is genuinely cool and it does play decently well, but I am not showing its power, that's for sure. Hands are really, really awkward. Like these 1/1, they don't really do anything unless you have the other cards in the deck that complement them. And now I'm kind of stuck keeping a very, very similar hand. Alright. So, Apprentice onto the field. Hopefully this Showdown of the Scalds really takes off. That was the card that kind of won me the first game. I'm going to need that to happen again. But yeah, maybe this deck is just not really going to be able to compete with all the stuff that's going on in this format. Shambling Gas, pretty nasty. I think I'm fine attacking with the Ronin into it, though. If they want to put the -1/-1 on the Ronin after blocking, that's fine. Okay. Sure. Double Warlock classes. Well, we hit the Showdown mana, so that's kind of cool. Okay. Well, hopefully the opponent's a little bit slow. Hopefully they're planning on just leveling up these Warlock classes, and that'll be that. Okay. Surprised they didn't actually do that there. I'm going to try to get in for 1 damage here. Okay. Showdown. Yeah, I'm really wondering what they're going to do with this mana if they didn't want to put it into Warlock class. No lands in all those. Lands, really struggling with that right now. Really struggling. Some pretty good cards here, but not hitting the lands is going to leave me in a weird position. Do I want to hit another Showdown, or do I want to go out with like Iron Apprentice plus Angelfire? Okay. Wow. Yeah, that really, really bites. I kind of think I want to go out with the Showdown. Yeah. And then maybe this Showdown will end up showing me another land. The odds are I got to hit a land in the next 4 cards, right? All right. This deck is fun, and this deck is good. I know it is, but clearly there are greater forces working against me right now. I clearly pissed off somebody, and this is what's happening, because there's no way I should be missing this many lands. Sure. At least, you know, I'm going to have some haste coming next turn. I have plenty of red mana. They level this up to level 2. Okay. So it's possible they're going to have another power word. What a joke. What a joke. All right. Let's go Reinforced Ronin. Rabbit Battery. Doot doot. It appears they have nothing, though. So if that's the case, I'm going to go full ham. Yeah, sure. Why not? Ooh. I guess I shouldn't have put those +1/+1s on the Ronin. That was a mistake. It should have been Rabbit Battery before and then followed up with the Ronin. That was just genius play. Want to bet my next draw is a land when I clearly don't need it anymore? 100% the next card is a land. No. Well, you know what? It feels okay to be wrong. What do I want? Maybe not that. Do I put out the portable hole just to get the full benefit of... I think I do. The showdown. And then maybe eat the warlock class. Sure. Get in for 2. And now I do have to be aware of the hive over here as a blocker. The Ronin could run into that. But I do have voltage surge. Although that's probably got to kill... That's definitely got to kill Loth now. Before anything. Okay. And now put this out. Get the Ingenious Smith up a little bit. I can attack him pretty freely with it. And then I'm going to put out the Reinforced Ronin following this. Just to get another +1/+1 on the Patchwork. It will bounce back to hand, but, you know. It's still a thing. That attack. What is that? That means board wipe. That means another meat hook, but meat hook doesn't clear the board, right? Because it's going to cost them 7 to kill the Ingenious Smith? No? Okay. That's annoying. There's my land. At least that's a good land. Okay. Reinforced Ronin once again. I'm calling upon your service. And then I'm only going to attack in, I think, with the Ingenious Smith. I guess I go face. Like, this Loth is never going to die now. Are they thinking about just taking 2 damage? That'd be fun. Or 6 damage, rather, going down to 1. A little bit more than 2. There's no way. You put the eye twitch in front of it, right? Big decision. Well, I got to imagine that's going to be hitting my Smith. But at least I get to draw a card. Might need this Cave of the Frost Dragon to kill Loth next turn. Of course, the spiders have reach. Yeah. 5 CMC Planeswalkers are strong. Wow, they really want the portable hole. Or rather, sorry, they really want the Warlock class. Angelfire is cool. Angelfire is really cool, actually. I like them losing a life there. Use the Warlock class. Use all your mana. Please use all your mana. Dirty dog. I can get Trample. And they can't kill the Patchwork. So, is that what the play is? Is just put out everything, pump up the Patchwork as much as I can, and then attack in. Yeah. Guess that's all I can do. And then the flashback on the Angelfire is going to be pretty good for the follow-up turn, potentially. Okay. I actually don't know. Is this lethal? They got to kill something. They might have 2 mana open to murder the Ingenious Smith. And in which case, they block, but that's still 6 trample. Then they have triggers, but the triggers happen after the damage. So it's actually possible that... Maybe? Why do I got to scrape tooth and nail to get any kind of win in these games here? Okay. Well, that's 7 damage at them. And that Patchwork's Ward 2 is really coming up huge here. Okay. That's a pretty good card for them, no? I was expecting something more. I don't know what I was expecting there. This game's hard. Magic's such a hard game, isn't it? Like, I should just go back and play Elden Ring. It's so much easier than Magic the Gathering. This game just... so many moving parts. Next one. All right, these games have been kind of draining. I'm not joking when I say that I think Elden Ring might actually be an easier game. Yeah, I'll try this. At least with Elden Ring, you can learn what your opponents are doing. I'm not too far in the game. I'm making it up north, and I've recently ran into some fingers, if you know what that means. I don't want to say too much, but I encountered some fingers, and when I first encountered them, they were just walking all over me. Really? Hopeful initiate game? Really? The thing that destroys artifacts when I'm playing an artifact deck? Funny. Okay. But I think it's okay. I think I'm still going to go out with the Ingenious Smith because I do have kind of a bit of removal. I suppose it's got to be Patchwork. Yeah. But yeah, there were these fingers, and boy, oh boy, they were just stomping me down. But then you step back for a minute, you collect yourself, you watch what they're doing, and then everything's fine afterwards. You figure it out and you kill it. Magic doesn't really work that way. Oh, I definitely misplayed here. I could put this out on... No, I definitely want a portable hold that, right? Or do I want a voltage surge? Maybe it's voltage surge. But if they have the Spellbinder Elite, my portable hold doesn't kill that. So maybe I do want to save the voltage surge for that later. I think it's fine to go out like this. I'm thinking also portable hole could be good for scooping up their portable hole and getting back my Ingenious Smith at some point in this game. We'll see. It'd be really swell if the opponent missed like a couple of land drops. There's, as expected, the Flyboy. But it's fine, even if they do take the voltage surge. Next turn, I'll probably be firing that off and getting in for just 2 damage. Does that change something? That might actually change something. It might be better for me just to go maul the Skyclave now. Pump up. It'll be a 5/5 and pretty annoying for them to deal with. And then I also get out the Den of the Bugbear. So even if they do get rid of the Patchwork, I can at least do something later. They might have another portable hole, which would be a pretty big nightmare. They don't. Okay. That's fine. Hitting all the lands. Don't really like that. Portable hole now, not looking super hot. I can kill Adeline. I could sacrifice my treasure vault. It's not such a big deal to have to sacrifice a treasure vault with the amount of land that I do have. I think this is kind of fine. Definitely don't want to sacrifice the portable hole to give him back the Hopeful Initiate. That card is just too much. And get in for 5. Try to race them down. If they have a follow-up Adeline, that's going to be pretty miserable. This card, I think, can definitely run away with the game. Aspirin is not the greatest, but I can at least hit it with the portable hole. Although next turn I might be incentivized just to go in with the Patchwork and the Cave of the Frost Dragon. Do I have the mana for that? No, I actually don't yet. Okay. Well, push as much damage as I can. We're just going to keep going back and forth. Okay, they're going to be down to 2. And then I have a Den of the Bugbear next turn. This has to go out on red. And if I hit another land, it could also be a Cave of the Frost Dragon. I can't imagine them finding another 5 damage. That's bad. If they attack, they lose. Cool. I'm done with this game. Wrap up. All right, so those games didn't really go as I had expected them to go, but still, I think the deck is pretty fun, and I am going to definitely continue playing this one if I do dip my toes back into Standard after this foray. I don't know, Standard didn't feel all that appealing to me. What did I run into? 3, well, mono white, and then Selesnya mono white aggro is essentially what it was. 3 out of the 6 games, and then the other 3... I don't know, at least 2 of them were control. It's all very, very blurry. Things do get a little bit weird for me at times. Still, I think the deck is very fun because there are a lot of interesting things you can do with it. I think it's a little bit more complicated than it might initially appear. There are lines in this deck that could be a little bit more complicated than the straight up mono green, mono white, spam out your creatures, smash face kind of line. There are ways of pumping up the Ingenious Smith and the Patchwork if you do have the right combination of cards and enough mana to do it. And then things with Showdown of the Skalds, when you deploy that, it can kind of be interesting. Definitely, I played it very poorly. There were a couple of times, like when I pumped up the Ronin, for example, that wasn't really what I should have been doing. Still, I do like it. I think it's a whole lot of fun. I don't know how expensive it is. That's one thing I didn't really look into. I occasionally decide to start looking at the price. I think the base should be pretty cheap. Yeah, these cards are all uncommons or commons. You have your rares here. The rares, I think Maul the Skyclave, although a very powerful card, it is on its way out of Standard. However, you still have like 10 months with this card, right? Because I think rotation's not happening until November, so this is fine. Showdown of the Skalds is a pretty good craft. Angelfire is a little bit niche, I think. I'm not really sure if you want to be crafting this, but everything else seems like cards that you probably want to have in your library. You know, both of the legendary lands are going to be good. Any of the creature man lands are going to be good. So yeah, there are a lot of rares, but the rares that are needed for this deck aren't exactly hard crafts outside of Angelfire, Ignition, and then everything else should come pretty easily. So that is the deck for now. That's it for me. I'm going to go and play a much, much easier game. I'm going to go chop down some enemies with a giant samurai sword. Should be a whole lot of fun. Anyways, take care for now, and I'll see you in the next video, whatever video that may be. Bye-bye.